situated. All right, all right, all right. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Wilderness Podcast. Let's get situated right quick. Let me get my graphics showing properly. Give AE time to show his face too. There
I'm
we
here.
go.
I'm here.
All right. Here we go. Let's see. We're gonna do with a new thing. Nah, we're gonna go with like we always do with it. Here we go. We straight. Anyway, back. You give it time to catch up. Welcome back to the Wilderness Podcast. Yeah, we back. You see us. Yeah, we live and uncut. We here and we in the place. What's going on, my peoples? I hope you're having a good Tuesday. It's necessary to have a good day, at least a couple times out of the week. Tonight's show is called Lived. Oh damn, lived so many. Yeah, lived so many lives show. That's what it is. I spelled it right. Lived so many lives show. See, a lot of times, when you go through life, you understand how fortunate you are. You understand, how when you think about sticky situations, you think about how many times you have succeeded, how many times you know, they say the gods, the universe, and the ancestors show you grace. So when you lived a lot of lives, you have an awful lot of different characteristics. You have a lot of different sides. You have a lot of different what I mean by sides, you got a lot of different sides to you. See, as a man or a woman, you run it down as a man. A man is a son, a father, husband, a brother, a friend, an uncle, a nephew, uh could be any, a job title is another one of your characteristics and attributes. Some people have a multitude of skill sets, and you got people that got double majors, doctors. They function and do a whole lot of different things. They have a lot of skill sets that they have mastered, and they have a proven track record of that mastery. So you never know how many times you have to renew yourself in order to survive. And most of the time, when people renew themselves, it has to do with the undertaking of a job of some kind that you have to at least have some interest in, or at least know that it's going to pay you of the value that you agreed to. So, Dr. AE, I want you to break down for us, how many lives we live and how many attributes and skill sets that you gain in order to contribute to life, society. The people that mean the most to you are your beneficiaries, and why that's so pivotal and important as a real place that people need to achieve in life, and that's being able to have a skill set, a way to pivot forward throughout situations, and actually use your transformative life experiences in order to make something of yourself. That's why you have to live so many lives. AE, take it away.
Well, I think your life is always a reflection of those choices, right? The choices that we make. And so when we make those choices, it takes us places and it takes us through different doors, right? Now, some of those doors it takes us through, we may regret later on in life.
Woo!
But the value in it is that we must gain experience from all of the doors we walk through, right? We must gain something from it, right? Because even I read once someone said, if you don't have any regrets in life, you haven't lived, right? So we're not going to knock some of the regrets. I have a couple I wish I didn't go through. I wish I would have learned the lesson a different way, but it is what
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
Oh yeah.
It is what a TI is. So those experiences though is what makes us, right? And so we carry those different things with us, right? For you've gone through the military, you've gone now in the professional arena, and so you're an engineer, and so now you mainly work, but you work from home. So that in itself is another experience where your office blends directly with your home life, you know? And so all of these things help make who you are and how you deal with people and how you deal with things in your life. And so I think that's the real thing about it, right? That these experiences that you talk about and these lives that you talk about are really what it boils down to is those experiences. And whether or not you're going to learn from those experiences, gain from those experiences, and prosper, even if they were hard lessons, you still prosper from those experiences. And so those different quote unquote lives that you mentioned develop us into that character and that person that we are. So some of those things we can let break us, we can let destroy us, or they can build us.
Wonderfully said, my brother. So when it comes to, being able to take advantage of every moment, when you take advantage of these moments, you become very you gain a state of achievement about yourself. You know that you have accomplished something again. And that sometimes, or I won't say sometimes, when you get in that habit of accomplishment, you keep wanting to do that again. And see, that's the power of being capable and able. When you're capable and able, you want to take advantage of those capabilities and your abilities to be able to apply what you learn, what you have learned again, what you have learned better, what you can actually put forth in action. And then you get so good at some things, you can teach it. You have become an expert, a subject matter expert at that. You can actually get to the point to where you can even understand what could work better. By understanding how tools are broken, you understand that there's a capability of another tool that you need that can give you just that, the fix that you're looking for to make your life what? Again, more efficient. Nobody ever talks. See, the thing is, the problem with making life easy, it makes you soft. So what you want to do is you want to be more efficient so that you can get more accomplished. Some people are too busy about going to sleep, relaxing, acting as if that's the only thing they live to do. Not to work or nothing. They just live to relax. What you should live to do is make things more convenient for you to grow. Dr. E, can you elaborate on that, please? Sir?
Well, that's the thing, right? The the more experiences you gain, right? The more experiences you gain, the more you grow, like you just said, right? So if you aren't willing, if you're, in other words, if you're only willing to pick and choose what you're willing to go through, then you're only stifling your own growth, right? Because you're choosing a path for yourself, right? Instead of letting life and the experiences direct you, right? It's sort of like when you get ready to go into something, right? You get ready to, students get ready to write a paper, or I'll get ready to write a book or an article, or you actually go into go into a project, right, where you have to apply your engineering skills, right? If we all go into that with the preconceived notions that is going to be this, or we're going to write it this way, right? We're going to write this article this way. We're going to write this paper this way. You're going to fix this problem this way, right? Then neither one of us have opened up really to finding a true solution, right? We have to let the information guide us. And that's how we uncover the absolute truth. That's how we uncover and learn. Because even when you go into a project and you go with the open-mindedness, there may be something that happens that you've never encountered before. And so you learn to fix it, manipulate it, or whatever the case may be. But the key word is you learn. And it's the same thing. If you go in with all these preconceived notions, or you go through life picking and choosing what you think is going to get you or give you what you want as an end goal, you're only stifling yourself. You don't really know. You could be going about it the long way. You could be actually never going to achieve it taking that route. You don't know. You at some point you have to let it dictate, and you have to govern yourself accordingly. And that's when you start applying what you've already learned. And that's how it all comes together. And that's what we call your growth, right?
Also, you have to have the fundamentals to even achieve growth. You have to have something that you're doing right to even apply to even get to where you want to get to. Because see, the reason why some people have never achieved the things that they want to achieve is because they don't understand their fundamentals are in the toilet. They're in ruins. So that leaves you to daydreaming and believing that you can achieve instead of just doing it. The problem with people that daydream, they don't do. The problem with people that do, they don't dream enough. So you have to find a sweet spot, a place where you dedicate yourself to growth and development simply because that's what you should be doing every day of your life at some point and at some specific point in time. You got to learn something new every single day. And I'm really an advocate for that. And I say that a lot on this show, but I'm really serious about it. When you learn something new every day, do you know how empowering that makes you? How that makes you feel? You know, that way you can never lose that childlike mindset. To like children, you look at them, they got so much energy and they're so blissful. It's because they're like, guess what I learned? My daughter get to come. Guess what I learned today, Daddy? Oh, 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 oh. I learned this. I'll be so happy because she's understanding what life is about, learning. And see, some people, they raise their kids to the point to where they want to raise them to get grown too soon. And the child is missing out on the process of being a child and the learning mechanisms that are available in order for them to enhance themselves, which what they do is they're adding to their fundamental basis. That's how you raise children. You want to add to their fundamental basis. You want to make sure they're grounded for one, and for two, make sure they have an appetite for learning and understand how important it is to achieve just that, even learning how to learn. And how do you do that? First of all, you have to learn how to listen. Go ahead, AE. Tell them about it.
Well, that still goes back to, well, let me rephrase that.
Okay.
It boils down to also the nature and nurture, right? There's got to be that balance, right? And one has to support the other one, and they have to have a cohesive existence within you, right? So because you have very smart children, right? You got very smart children, but they are not, excuse me, excuse me again, they aren't nurtured, right? And let's call it like it is. And I'm just going to use this as an example. We have so many bright uh, children, black children, right?
Yes, indeed.
But because they're in an environment that believes that being educated means being white, they aren't being nurtured. They aren't being supported in terms of taking that God given talent they have, which is up here. It's not athletic, it's up here, you know, and nurturing that. And now there is some truth to that. We know that the educational system is very, 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 very culturally biased. We know that. So to some extent, that is true. But education is still the key to breaking any of the chains and any of the boundaries that could be set for you, right? That, and we're not talking about you just having to go to college. We're talking about a skill, right? Everyone in this country has to have a skill, you know, and so um, that nature and nurture have to go together. So when you find that nature, right? In other words, you find out what you're good at. Some people draw; they can look at something and they can draw it. Some people are musically inclined. Some people are just pick up mathematics. Is they see numbers. You know, I've often heard that I can't see numbers. I can't see them at all. You know, but I see other. You know, I'm a writer. People used to didn't believe me, but I could study, right? And if I'm sitting at a test, I actually the same way mathematicians and people who are good at math can look up and they can just add all those numbers and whatnot. I have a photographic memory for writing. I could actually look up and see my notes. I could go through my notes while I was taking a test and actually read them. You know, and so I understood that that was a gift. The same way that math people, you know, can see numbers, I had a gift for writing because I love to write. I write, and so once I write something, I can take a photographic memory of it. Can't do it with math because if I move that number, it's gone. I promise you, it's gone. But it is what it is. We have to. That goes back to what I was saying though. We have to understand those talents that we have. We have to give ourselves a chance, you know, and we have to give our children a chance to learn what is that they're good at, to develop what God-given talent they were given and blessed with. And that's where the nurturing has to come in, you know. The nature God did. The ancestors directed it with it through the genes. But you got to nurture it. It has to go together.
I completely agree, and I completely understand. And I hope people that are listening, I hope you enter over and understand that completely, because when it comes to these children, you got to let them try a lot of things. You have to let them explore mentally. And you have to, and I'm not telling you to jump all in and jump into every damn situation with them, because you got to give them time to understand how much are they into whatever said subject, meaning how much have they researched it, how much do they know about it, and why they want to play it, why they want to do something. You have to research why. Sometimes I'm surprised with my daughter why she want to do things is because she studied her parents. Thing is, she has an knack for drawing and dressing, and she's extremely kids. So they have so many of these wonderful talents, but You got to allow them as much as we can as parents. Give them a plethora of things to do because it's that developing brain of theirs. It's a complete adage. It completes the way they think. They're able to solve things by understanding, how these two different categorical things actually have commonalities. So they can take one thing and learn from the other and make it magically come together to say, oh, now that makes sense. So they started. See, these kids, they just need to understand how the world works. So this is how they understand operations, trade, economics. I tell my daughter about Amazon. I tell her about, how long it take packages to get certain places. Just explaining the little intricate things that they need to learn so that it expands their brain to say, oh, they can equate a package can be late with what? Weather or traffic. So that allows them to explore and to enhance their critical thinking capabilities. Those small tasks, those small little ordeals that you think is small to you because you've been knowing it, and maybe some of those don't know or think like that. But I'll tell you, you should think that way too. Learn how to put things together for yourself in your brain. It gives you a whole sense of calmness because when you can understand how a situation is, maybe there's a traffic jam or maybe something is bogged up, maybe something is not going the way you want it to go, even on your job, but you have to think, how can I affect change? How can I implement something that can alleviate this problem? You have to come up with a solution. And the thing is, sometimes people come up with ways out of situations or ways through, but it doesn't resolve the problem. Hey, E, you want to elaborate on that, please?
Well, that's what we've already touched on, and that's people always wanting the easy way out, right? They want to they want life at its easiest, not knowing that they are missing out on the learning experiences through trials and tribulations. And so they're they're actually they're actually cutting their own growth.
Again.
And that's the real thing. They're selling themselves short, actually.
Yeah. Agreed. So what we're gonna do is, because we know we wanted to keep this show short. One thing about living these lives and living your life knowing that you have pivoted here, pivoted there, changed this career, changed that career, changed this job, searching to get a better job, or maybe you have enhanced your capabilities to all of these things are about altering your life to live a better life. Everything has to do with you, mainly how you carry yourself, your attitude, the way you hygiene, the way you present yourself. If you got dirty fingernails, anything can throw people off when you depending on the profession that you're trying to pursue. See, some things you really have to be realistic about with what you pursue. And you also have to be happy with yourself and not bring yourself to a place of delusion. You know how many people want to be a singer and can't be because they cannot sing?
Can't carry a tune.
You know how many people
If you gave them 10 buckets, 10 pails, they still couldn't carry a tune.
So let's be realistic. Let's be honest. Let's do things that you know you're good at and just take it to the next level. And also, it's not that you got to give up on things that you're not good at. You just have to enhance your capabilities and know that you may not be the best, but it's something that you can enjoy. Got something to add, AE?
Yeah, now that's something I'd take a little second to harp on there, or boast, or stamp a little approval on, because like I said, math is nowhere near. Ooh, I'm the worst. But I was determined not to let algebra beat me. You know what I'm saying? I was determined because my parents were disappointed because it was the first time I was just doing awful on something. And so I was determined not to let algebra beat me. And then I got it. Now I don't have to do it all the time. I do algebra now to help my son with his homework, and that's it. That's as far as I'm taking it. But it's still, even to the day, we talking 30 plus years later, that sense of accomplishment still sits with me, that I can do these polynomials. Now that's about as far as I can take it, but I can do them. I can do those. I got it up to that. And so, it comes down to also, you don't have to be the best at it. I'll never be a mathematician. I would always yield to somebody else with math. But the harnessing of that basic skill to get that basic algebra 1, algebra 2, because I struggled through college algebra, but the basic algebra 1, algebra 2 I got, and it was the sense of accomplishment that I got the basic learning on it. No, I'll never be great at it, but I got the basics. I didn't let it beat me, and that's the thing, because that sense of accomplishment is something, and I know we got to cut it short, but I got to say this. That's our number one problem, right? Is that we as a people, I'm talking about Black people, we have let material possessions define us instead of our accomplishments. And even when we do accomplish something, we think that the accomplishment is minimal unless we can turn it into something that everyone else can see material, right? That good job doesn't mean anything just to have that good job, to be respected on that job, to have that good job, to have people looking forward to see you coming, to even people on that job relying on you. That gets replaced with the house or the car or the clothes because of the money you got for that job. You see what I'm saying? Instead of the job itself and what it took to get that job and the training you had to go through and all of the things and the reputation that you have at that job. All of that has now fallen behind the money and the material stuff. And we have let that define us. And we got to get back to letting accomplishments define us.
Lead.
And who we are.
Letting accomplishments lead. I completely concur. I agree 1,000%. Accomplishments are your true defining elements about yourself. You could be good on your job all day, and you should be. You should learn your job. You should be, but you also have to be a good father, best as you can. A good husband, best as you can. A good friend, best as you can. A good person, best as you can. That's also an accomplishment. Dr. A, you still there?
Yes.
Camera just went out. But being a good being is a wholehearted accomplishment within itself, and the characteristics and the ability to learn things that enhance and make your life better. That's just something you should pursue. Anything else, A, before we close it out?
No, I'm gonna let you have those last words.
All righty. So this is the thing, people. Being accomplished has to do with what you have put out into the world from the inside out. It's not what the world have done for you. It's not what you like. It's not what you what can be given. And no woe was me. No, it's what you can give. So check it out. It's Willis Podcast. You know what it is. Say it with me. It's favorite part of the show. The will is yours. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be back at you.
God
Take
bless.
it easy.
One love.